Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Justin, and today we're here at Buff City Soap in Highland Village in Jackson, Mississippi. They're a plant-based, homemade soap makery, and today I'm gonna be making my own bar of soap. I can't wait. Y'all come on in. First time making soap, never done this before. The store smells amazing, so I'm super excited to see what this is gonna smell like. So we're getting the oil ready right now.
Welcome back, and thanks for tuning in to season 2 of Dirty Napkins. Before we get started, at the end of last season, we received a lot of questions about who we were interviewing. It's simple, your favorite people at your favorite restaurants. Today, I'll be interviewing Thigpen. You may remember her from the hit show Bring It. She's a social influencer and performer. We're here at Babalu's in Jackson, Mississippi. Let's go get some napkins dirty.
My name's Kendall. I'm the general manager here at Babalu. We have tacos, of course, are really good. They're kind of like street tacos. And then we're really known for our Baba Burger. It's probably one of the best burgers in Jackson. And then a filet on a stick is one of my personal favorites.
How you doing, Faye?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Well, I introduced myself before we got started. I'm Taylor. But before we get started, tell the people who you are. That camera over there.
My name is Faith Simone. I'm a dancer, well, performer, because I do pretty much everything. A former member of the Dancing Dolls, have my own traveling dance studio, Stardom Studios. Yeah, that's about it.
I didn't know you had your own dance studio, Stardom Studio.
Well, like, it's not a studio within
Okay.
itself, but it's like I travel to other people and I like teach, dancing, stage, performance, all stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I guess, obviously, thank you for being a part of Dirty Napkins Season 2. You're our first guest of this season, so super excited about that. But just to, I guess, start it off, how'd you like the food? What you got tacos, right?
Yes, I got tacos. I had the veggie tacos with chicken. It was actually really good. Like, the food was really nice. I liked the flavor that they had. It was like a tangy, spicy type, and then there was a lot of veggies in there. So I'm a vegetable girl. I love vegetables.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay.
so I liked it. It was really good.
I had the steak skewers, I think, and it was legit. It was legit. But when we were sitting at the table, I asked you, what's some of your favorite restaurants in Jackson? Like, just to kind of start the conversation
Some
off.
of my favorites, like I said, I'm a soul food girl, so I love me some mac and cheese and some fried chicken.
Yeah.
So I like Piccadilly, I like Mama Hamil's. I also like deli style, so I like McAllister's, Nuke's.
Oh, okay.
But I pretty much eat everything.
You said you're a foodie.
Everything. Yes, I am a
got you.
foodie.
I got you. Well, like I told you a little bit about what we're gonna talk about today, but I wanted to tell you like a real quick story before we got started. So
Okay.
I got in town like last night, and I was sitting at my mom's house when the producers, they sent me the interview list, right? So I'm looking over it, and my niece is there, right? She a big Bring It fan. All right, so my niece is there, and she like, "What you doing?" You know, I'm like, "Well, I'm taking some notes. I got somebody to interview tomorrow." And she's like, "Who you interviewing?" And she sees your name, right? I'm telling you, she went like crazy. She like, "Oh my God, you interviewing for Hayes?" I'm like, yeah, you know.
Oh my gosh.
I just want to thank you because of you, my niece thinks I'm cool now. So you know what I mean. And you did that for me. So thank you for making me the cool uncle.
Oh, I'm so excited about that.
Okay. Well, I guess to start it off, my first question for you is, like you just said, you're a dancer, or did you prefer to go by entertainer? Performer, that's what you said, performer. So talk to us a little bit about how you started. How'd you get your start in performing?
I started in performing at the church, actually.
Okay.
I did mime, and I also did liturgical dance. And I did that starting at 3 years old. I was like the smallest and the youngest, of course. And I did that for like 2 or 3 years. Then I got into Power APAC, which is a performing arts school. It teaches modern, ballet, jazz, contemporary, all those good things. And I did that from 5th grade all the way up to 12th grade. Then after high school, I went to Performing Arts College, American Musical and Dramatic Academy in New York, New York. I did that for about a year, and now I'm back home due to COVID, of course. And I've been doing online classes and stuff like that, but that's how I got into performing. Also, in my time period of high school, I joined the Dancing Dolls in 9th grade, and I got into majorette, and that's when I got into filming with the show and all of those good things, and that was fun. I did that for a very long time.
I got you.
I learned a lot from the show, from being on the team, from Miss Diana, so that's
Well, you gave me
a love song.
You gave me a lot to go off of there. So let's backtrack a little bit. For the people who may be like myself, I think I know what miming is. That's like when you kind of, you don't talk, you just dance, right?
Yes.
Okay. But what you said, lethargic dancing? Like
Liturgical.
Liturgical. What is that?
That's like praise dance.
Oh, okay.
So it is praise dance. The professional name for it would be liturgical dance.
Okay.
But if people around or just in the church just call it praise dance.
I got you.
So mime is basically where, you paint your face and you kind of minister the music.
I didn't want to say the paint your face part. I was like,
yeah, that's what it is. You
okay.
do paint your face as well. It's not like the moms on the street where
I
they're
got
like, but no, you're actually ministering, making difference in the church and things like that. People in the church, we don't like to call it performing. We like to call it ministering because we like to allow God to take over and just do His works.
Okay. So you talked about Power APAC a little bit, and I mean, I'm from Jackson, so I'm familiar. But I want to ask you, like, do you think that helped you along, like, with your career?
Most definitely. Power APAC is my foundation.
Okay.
It has what made me stand out in everything that I've done thus far. Just having a foundation of technique, having just a foundation of knowing what the proper etiquettes of dance are. I learned all of that from Power APAC, and I will be forever grateful for my teachers from Power APAC.
Okay. So it was worth it for you.
Yes, it definitely was.
I wanted to get in Power APAC, but I
really?
I couldn't get it because you got to audition for it, right?
Yeah, you do.
So did you? You auditioned?
I did audition for it in the 5th grade. I was horrible, but they definitely.
I doubt it.
No, I definitely was. If I could have got them to record that for me, oh my gosh, I would laugh. I was horrible.
Okay.
But they definitely helped train me up very well. I ended up being one of their top graduating dancers at Power APAC, so I was excited about my journey there.
And so from there, you joined the Dancing Dolls in the 9th grade, right? And did you have to try out for that as well?
Yes, you did have to try out for the Dancing Dolls.
Because I'm curious, like, how does that work? Like, how does the whole Dancing Doll setup thing go?
So you basically go to the tryouts. They're normally around February time, which they just had some tryouts recently. And you start off as a crab, so you're a newbie. Like, they teach you all about Dancing Dolls, how it started. They teach you all the stands you'll be learning, all the routines, and basically from there it's up to you, like what level you go to. You can then join Battle Squad, you can then join a whole bunch of things, become a captain.
Oh, so it's a bunch of like groups, and correct me, like give me the proper terminology, but it's like a bunch of groups inside of Dancing Dolls.
Kind of, yeah, like not necessarily groups, but like levels. Like, it's like if you're on level 1, you can graduate to level 2. If you're on level 2, you can go to level 3. And then that'll be like Battle Squad. Battle Squad is like the heavy hitters of the team. They go and they do the competitions for the team.
Okay.
And those who Miss Diana rely on the most, honestly.
Okay.
Those and her captains. And there's like a whole line of captains. You have the head captain, the head co-captain, then the co-captain. It's like a whole bunch of different titles you can get and positions you can get on the team.
So did you, when you were on the Dancing Dolls, did you enjoy your time doing that?
Oh yeah, I definitely did. I had some very funny moments with the girls. Then just like the whole impact of meeting other dancers who were inspired by what we were doing. That was my favorite part, to like meet them. Also traveling the United States, touring every summer. So that was fun too. And just overall performing, because I love to perform, so that was very nice to experience.
We're gonna come back to your love of performance. So to continue talking about the Dancing Dolls, I read somewhere that you were like, you just mentioned crabbing, right? So I read somewhere that like you were like one of the crab captains or the crab captain when you came in.
I was the crab captain of my line on Dancing Dolls. So basically everyone who tried out with me, I was their captain to make sure we were in check, so we didn't have to run laps and do all the crazy stuff of whoever messed up and things like that. So yes, I was the crab captain. I was super excited about that because I had never done majorette before ever in my life. My mom had done it, my aunt had done it before, but I had never done it before. So it was a big step for me to, you know, come in, getting crab captain like after a certain amount of time, and then, you know, just being recognized for that.
So in a lot of ways, you kind of come from a lineage of, I guess, a family of dancers. Is that safe to say?
Actually,
or performers,
yes,
right?
performers.
I'm trying to make sure I'm calling you the right thing there.
But yeah, I do come from a lineage of performers. I'm the only dancer on my dad's side, but my mom and my aunt are dancers on my mom's side. So everyone else over there, they got the vocals. I wasn't blessed with the vocals.
Oh, I see.
It's okay, I got dancers. So they call me whenever they need dancers, so it's fine.
So you decided, you say you went to a performing arts school in New York after high school. What was your reasoning for that?
I wanted to tap into the more Broadway aspect of dance. And that's just a whole nother form of dance style that I just wanted to try. And when I went there, I went for singing, acting, and dancing. So I got like three in one deal. So it was super fun. Just a chance to live in New York, and it was a great experience. I really, really loved the school.
Okay, so singing, acting, and dancing. Do you plan to do some singing and acting?
Yes, I do plan to do acting more so than singing, but if I have the opportunity to sing, then I do sometimes.
What type of acting interests you? You want to be a movie star one day? What does that look like?
Yeah, I would love to be a
Ideally.
movie star one day. Yes, but just doing like I've done commercials before. I've done a few skits before, some plays. But I've never done a movie before, so a movie would be like a dream role to do one day. But I think it wouldn't be like, yes, that's my final goal in life, but it would be something that I would look forward to doing.
What is, I know this changes with time, but today, what is one of Faith's, I guess, long-term or final goals in life?
One of my favorite long-term goals that I have is to open up my performing arts school, and that would include all the arts. I love art. I even do poetry sometimes. I know how to draw. So I want to include like all styles of art: singing, instruments, drawing, dancing, acting. So
And you just want to kind of like train up other
I want to train up, especially here in Jackson, because it's not like, other than APAC and Belhaven, it's not really a lot of performing arts schools here. So I want to open one here for sure to like just help spark that in a lot of children here who are inspired by those things.
Well, I was watching some videos on your YouTube channel, and where did the stardom come from? Like you said, like Stardom Studio, and that's like your Instagram name too, right?
Yes, it is.
Where did that, like, what is the?
My mom used to always just tell me when I was younger, like, you're such a star, like you're so bright, you're so everything. And then I just looked up star, and I didn't want to go by the name Star or anything like that, but I just looked it up. Then I looked up the word stardom, and it was like just the beginning of basically fame and stuff like that. And I was like, I like that. And then so that's when it became my Instagram name, and then I just went on with it to make it now my new studio and stuff name, and just like I just love like what it meant. So And it just reminded me of what my mom just used to tell me, like, one day you'll be a star.
And it's interesting you talk about your mom. Your mom wanted, you said you have an alternate ego.
Yes.
You go by like Simone, and then you also have Faith. It sounds like your mom wanted to name you Simone, and maybe your grandma wanted to name you Faith.
Exactly what
Talk
happened.
about that a little bit. How did that go down?
Oh my gosh, my grandmother adores me. She just knows I'm her child. I came out of her. Like, my mom is irrelevant, but
Okay.
my mom definitely wanted to name me Simone, but my grandma, she wanted to name me Faith. And of course they fought about it, like, no, this is my child, I want her name to be Simone. But eventually they came to a whatever.
Grandma
but they
won out.
Yeah, grandma won. So I like to call her Mimo. She's like, don't call me grandma. So
I
my
got you.
Mimo.
I'm sorry, Mimo. I apologize.
So my Mimo, she was like, no, her name's gonna be Faith Simone. So of course she won that battle.
So you said Simone is like your more, I guess, vulnerable, more, fun-loving side. And Faith sounds like the competitor, I want to win, I want to be the best. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So Simone is definitely more so like love being at home, love being relaxed, sweatpants, t-shirt, watching movies, don't have her hair done, nothing. She just really likes, I don't know, like just being family oriented and stuff like that. And then Faith, she's like my more, okay, it's time to get it. More self-driven, like, okay, what do I need to be doing next? What steps I need to be taking to making a change, not only in my life, but other people's lives too. And then with me having 8 siblings, like, they look up to me. And I'm the oldest out of all of them, fortunately.
You're the oldest out of the 8?
Out of all 8, yes.
Oh, wow, okay. How's being a big sister, like, to all, to 8? Because one of your sisters is like your best friend, right?
Yes, yes. My sister Jalen, she's definitely my best friend. And being the oldest of all of them, they're like my babies. I do everything for them. Like, I'm like, y'all okay? Y'all need anything? Things like that. But of course, I really don't even argue with them that much. Like, we have playful, like, brother and sister fights. But everything I do, like, I try to do for, like, them, because they're watching. Like, they need to know, like, it's possible. You can do it. Because with our family, we have a interesting background of people, like, who have started things and didn't finish, but I want to be the first one in my family to, like, finish everything and let them know that that generational curse that has been put on us is able to be broken. So how was it when you had to leave and go to New York, that time away from your siblings? How was that? So heartbreaking. I cried every day up until it was time for me to leave. And then I couldn't see them as often because they're so far away, but I come back on holidays and stuff like that. But it definitely was hard for me, especially being there by myself, no family, but it was worth it.
Okay,
I think.
Good. Well, I want to change kind of the course of the conversation. There was another video you had on your YouTube. It was called like Godfidence, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Godfidence.
Okay, Godfidence. And for me watching it, it seemed like the undertone was centered around Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
Why was it important to you to put a piece together that kind of symbolized this Black Lives Matter movement?
Around the time, it was Juneteenth, and it was a lot of Black crime going on, and I just felt like we needed to see something other than riots and other than like making stances with just our voices. It's a lot of dancers out here and performers who don't like talking, rather, and I went in my mom's room and I told her, I was like, Mom, I want to do something. I don't know what I want to do, but I just know I want to do something. Like, I know I'm not a talker much, but I want to let my voice be heard. And then she was like, well, use the gifts that God gave you. And then right there, it sparked everything that I want to do. Like, I just heard the song People by Evan and Eris, and I was inspired, and I reached out to some other dancers, and I'm like, I know it's a lot going on in the world. Would you all like to do this with me? And that was like, yes, I've been waiting to do something like this. So that's where it derived from. And I just wanted to show love and support for my people, my Black community. So in a way that I know that I can be heard, and that is through my performance. Like, everyone hears me when I'm performing in a way that isn't audible. So
yeah, I got you. And just another thing I want to bring up while we're talking about YouTube. I was watching another video of you and another one of your friends or somebody else dancing, and I guess something just told me to go look at the comments, right?
Okay.
So I'm like looking in the comments, and all I see is comments of people like praising you. They like, oh, she slayed it. Every move was flawless. She's giving me Jay said Stingette vibes. My question for you is, did you ever want to be a part of like a Jay Sets or like a Stingette? Was that something you ever wanted?
Yes, I desired to be on the J Sets all the time. Like a thing that was between me and my dad. We would go to the football games every Saturday, and of course he wanted to be by the band. I wanted to be by the J Sets. So that was our thing, and I like really admired the J Sets. I loved how they carried themselves, the rules they had, the standards they had. So I definitely desired to be a J Set growing up. And then I think it kind of veered as I learned more and more about performing arts. It was like, okay, I don't want to just limit myself to one thing. So it kind of like changed a little bit. But sometimes I still, have that urge and that love for where my love for Majorette started. Like that's where I found out Majorette was watching the J Sets. So.
Was that like your first love then, like when it comes to in terms of dance, or was it some of the other dances?
It was definitely APAC with my modern and jazz and ballet. That was definitely my first love.
So that's the style of dance you're most passionate about, you would say?
Oh, okay. Yep.
Fair enough. Well, I want to keep the conversation going. I saw somewhere where you were being pretty vulnerable, and I just want to bring it up and just talk to you about it. I think people need to hear this type of stuff, because when you look at you, like on the surface, you see this super successful person. You've amassed quite the Instagram following. Like I was doing my Instagram, I was like, she had how many followers? You know what I mean? Like that was insane. But you talked about like how you dealt with bullying and things like that, and that's something I would have never thought that you would have gone through. So
it mainly be people that you never think was going through those type of things that goes through bullying and things like that. But I dealt with a lot of bullying in middle school, and I dealt with it some in high school too. Cyberbullying, like just on the internet and my peers. I've never been one to necessarily fit in with anybody, because my mom has always told me, I know I talk about my mom, but I love my mom.
That's okay.
My mom, she just always told me, like, you were born to stand out. You're never going to fit in. Like, you're a king's kid, so get used to it, basically. So she was like, I went through it, and it's sad that you're going to have to go through it, but you just have that light about you that people are not going to understand. So their way of showing that they don't understand is through bullying and things like that, like throwing hate, throwing meaningful things that they don't necessarily mean. But
why do you think people were throwing hate or saying these mean things to you?
Just mainly because sometimes people want to be where you are, or people want to be somewhat like you or in the same area as you, and they don't know how to do it. And that sometimes come off as jealousy, which then leads towards hating, as people like to say, like hating, and then they just become bitter and upset about it, and they're just like, oh, I don't like her, and they don't even have a reason. Like you'd be like, why don't you like me? And they're like, I don't know, I just don't. So it's just like they don't really have a reason, but they do know like there's something in that person, well, like this in me that they didn't quite understand that I had, and they didn't understand why they didn't. And that's what I learned eventually growing up. And people would sometimes admit to it, like, yes, I was jealous of you because you're this and that, and I just did it because I was just upset. But mainly I think it just comes from that. People don't awaken the gifts and things that they have inside of them, and they see it in other people, and they just wonder like, why them and not me? So
very, very bright. I mean, that was very insightful what you just said right there. So Faith, you said you kind of started the interview off talking about you got your start in church, right? With miming, and I don't want to butcher the other word.
Praise dance.
Praise dance. Let's go with praise dance. But I guess I want to ask you. You said somewhere that you felt like God was telling you that that's something that's your passion, that's your calling. Like, what makes you feel that way? Like, why do you feel like that?
Because when I do minister in praise dance or in mime, so many people feel like, wow, that was a blessing. Like the love of God is over her, and it's not me. Like I feel like if I'm doing something especially in the church, I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be all about what God is doing in my life and making a difference and telling my testimony through dance to inspire someone else to get up and be like, it's okay. Like, whatever you're going through, you can get through it because God is on your side, because he's been doing that my whole life. So that's what makes me feel good, is when I know that someone acknowledges the ministry of God through me, but it's not about me.
Okay. And let me ask you then, so, and if this question is too much, just say, hey, no, I don't want to answer that, Taylor. So in terms of, right, you seem like you have a very religion heavy background. Mm-hmm. Was there ever a point where the cross between religion and maybe the majorette style of dance, I mean, it doesn't bother me much, but the majorette style of dance and religion, was there ever a point in your life where those two clashed?
Oh, most definitely. Like, a lot of my family members, because they're so faith-based and came from a religious background, they did not agree at all. They didn't want me to do it. They were like, no, if you're doing it, I'm not going to support you, this and that. But it didn't take a toll on me per se, but my more religious family, like, it definitely put a big split between us, because they just didn't agree with it. They didn't understand why I would do it, like why I would want to show off that type of movement on my body and things like that. But majorette is so much deeper than what people think it is. And I couldn't get them to understand it, especially because they're not dancers at all. So it's like, you will never understand until it's time for you to understand. And they definitely came around after some time, and they were just like, well, I'm glad you did it. Like, that was the best opportunity for you. And it came around, so I think it was all worth it.
Because I was gonna ask you, when you hear them say things like, "Oh, we're not gonna support you," or "Why would you want to do that?" How did those type of comments make you feel? And like, how did you continue to say, you know what? What drove you to say, well, this is what I want to do. This is what I feel passionate about. I'm gonna continue to do it. Right? How did you get past that point?
Mainly because I had my mom, and also because it was more so, I knew, I made up in my mind, this is what I wanted to do. And it's like, sometimes in your life, even as a child, when you know this is something you wanted to do and you're just firm to that, like, no one can tell you, like, no one can change your mind, especially like we just feel like it's the right thing to do. So I think that's what it was for me. Like, I just felt like there was going to be a great opportunity for me to do that. And everything was new for me, and to not have some of my family's support definitely was heartbreaking, especially with me being so family oriented. But it also was an eye-opener for me that everyone's not going to support you, even your own family, even your own blood. So sometimes you just have to make those sacrifices when it's time to do something that you feel like you need to do.
And that's what I was gonna ask you. I apologize for cutting you off. But so to maybe some of the young women who may be watching this and they may be dealing with something similar. I mean, the fact of the matter is, we're from Mississippi. We live in Jackson for the most part, and we're a religious type bunch here in the South, right? So for the young women who may be dealing with something similar, what advice would you give them to kind of say, hey, I want to be a majorette, but my family is super religious. How do I go against it?
I would definitely say, pray about it, for one. Like, make sure you got that confirmation from God to take that next step. Don't make it all about self. Make sure that you have the right confirmation that you need to do that. And not everyone's going to agree with you, but if you have the right people on your side, God being one of those people, then you'll be fine. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So to go back to Dancing Dolls, just to start closing us out here, what was life like after Dancing Dolls? And I guess my question is, how does Dancing Dolls end? Do you become a senior and that's like the end of the road?
It's like
what is
once
that?
you become of age where it's time for you to graduate high school, you graduate from the team as well. And then that's where you go into your college collegiate style of dance, which is the J-Sets, which is the Golden Girls, which is the Stingettes, and then you take everything you learn from it in your time being on your community drill team to your collegiate dance style of dance. So it's like, basically it's like a training, a prep for college.
So life after Dancing Dolls for Faith, what was that? What is that like? What has that been like, I guess?
It's been actually great. I've had some time to focus on me a lot, to focus on school as well, do a lot of more things involved in the community and like just with younger kids who have been inspired by what I've done. Because I didn't get to do a lot of things, especially like in high school, just at home. I didn't see my siblings a lot just around that time. But it's like now I can have more free time to do things that I have wanted to do for a while. So it's been nice. Been teaching at Judah Performing Arts School.
Where's that at?
It's in North Jackson behind the mall, right beside McAllister's. So I've been teaching there, teaching younger kids from ages like 3 to 16. So it's been nice doing that. About to graduate from with my associate's degree in school.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so I'm about to move on in the next college level and just keep moving forward.
Well, I guess to start wrapping this up here, Faith, outside of your mom and your Meemaw, did I say that right, Meemaw? All right,
Meemaw.
See, Meemaw, I got you. But outside of your mom and your Meemaw, who inspires you?
Every single last one of my family members. Every single last one. They all give me something different. From my dad, from my uncles, from my aunts, people who not even blood related to me, but they have family titles. Like, they all give me something that keeps me going, like keeps me motivated. And definitely my supporters, like my support system that I have from the internet, just from everybody. Like, it all plays a part in what keeps me going every day. So.
All right, well, I guess my last question for you is, what's next for Faith?
That's a good question. What's next for me, I think I'm about to start looking into opening a studio. Dancing and teaching isn't necessarily my passion, but I love what it does for the children. I love like how excited they get to learn new things, and I'm looking into that now. And I'm also going to start traveling more with Stardom Studios, going to different cities, not just in Jackson. I went to like New Orleans and things like that, but I wanted to travel even broader to teach everything that I know. I just want to spread the love of performing. So.
Well, Faith, for the people like myself or some of the other people who've been living under a rock, tell us where we can find you. What are your preferences for how people can find you? Just let us know on that camera right there.
You can follow me on Instagram at I am Stardom. The 0 in Stardom is the O in Stardom is a 0, my bad. So it's IAMSTARD 0M_. You can follow me on Facebook at Faith Thigpen. You can follow me on Twitter at Faith on Point. So.
All right. Well, on behalf of the Dirty Napkins crew, we have a little gift for you, just to show our token of appreciation for you taking the time out of your busy day to sit down and have a conversation with us. So this is from all of us here at the Dirty Napkins team. So
I love t-shirts.
Well, good. Well, we gave you another one then.
I love t-shirts.
Well,
okay.
I guess,
so
Faith, I'll speak for myself here, and I know I'm speaking for the team as well, but I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us and just let me ask you a bunch of questions. I know some of them may not have been the easiest questions, but it's been a pleasure. But I'll go ahead and let you go. So without any further ado, it's been a pleasure, Faith.
It's been a pleasure for me too.
I give you a complimentary Corona dab. All right, take it easy. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Dirty Napkins. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Dirty Napkins. Until next time, it's your host, Taylor.
How you doing? This is Chef JB, and we're back again this week with the Dish of the Week with Dirty Napkins. Today we'll be cooking jerk chicken egg rolls. We're gonna start with rolling the egg rolls up. Here you have it, the jerk chicken egg rolls. Tune in next week to see what we'll be cooking up.